I bought an old copy of Pokemon SoulSilver at a video game convention and started a run where 20% of the wild Pokemon are shiny. This video shows how I got there. Hey everyone, it's been quite a while. It's true that about 2 years ago, I kinda disappeared from this channel. What have I been doing that time? Well, I'm still collecting Pokemon cards, and actually I've gotten a ton of them and lost a lot of money in the process. But in the immediate future, I'm going to start documenting a pretty cool run of SoulSilver where I only use shiny Pokemon. This video is going to roughly explain how I got into doing this. But if you're not into storytelling, feel free to skip to my next video where I set up my SoulSilver run. Anyways, one Saturday noon, I spontaneously decided to go to the Long Island Retro Gaming Expo. If you're wondering why, I had noticed on the Expo's website that they were distributing a legitimate original Mew from Pokemon Red and Blue. As a short aside, the only way you could have gotten a legitimate Mew in the original Red and Blue games was to enter a lottery for a distribution at Toys R Us. Now, in the pre-internet days, this wasn't an easy feat, and most people just got Mew from using a Game Shark. The legitimate Mew distribution was done through a modified copy of Pokemon Red, which was originally only for Toys R Us employees, but a few of which eventually found their way onto the market and were eventually copied into ROMs. The Mew being distributed at this event was from one of those ROMs, so it wasn't completely legit, but the inner kid in me couldn't say no. Now, you'll notice it was noon on the day of the convention when I decided all this, and actually, I don't live near Long Island. But if you get to know me enough, you realize I do this all the time. Anyway, it took me about a whole 2 hours in traffic to finally get to the convention, and by the time I got there, it was nearly 3 in the afternoon. There were a lot of cool video game displays at the convention, but because I was so late, I hoofed it over right away to the so-called Pokelab, where the distributions were being held. This fine gentleman in the lab coat here was preparing distributions of basically all the existing Pokemon games. After a short stint in line, I was finally able to get my Mew in time, as you'll see in this short clip.
So right here is Gen 1 Mew, and he's got Eon tickets and
It has the trainer tag Yoshira, which all the legitimate Toys R Us Mews from that era had. What a win. But wait, there was more. I learned from the event distributor that there would be another distribution at 7 PM, this time for a shiny Entei, Raikou, and Suicune from Heart Gold and SoulSilver. Heart Gold and SoulSilver were some of my most beloved games as a kid, even though I had only played a bootleg Chinese ROM of Heart Gold and never found the real thing. The problem was, in order to receive the distribution, I would have to have either a copy of Heart Gold or SoulSilver. I brought my DS with me, but I didn't have a copy of either game. Well, luckily for me, I just happened to be at a retro gaming convention. But even though I looked through dozens of stands, very few had a copy of either Heart Gold or SoulSilver available, and generally the vendors were charging quite exorbitant prices. At 6:50 PM, I had almost given up hope when I found one vendor that I had missed before with a solitary copy of SoulSilver for $120. Now that seems like a mind-blowing amount of money, but considering it still had the box and manual, it actually wasn't too bad compared with eBay prices. I put it into my DS to test it. It didn't register. Even though I tried to insert it a few more times, it still wouldn't register. But then I realized you just had to do the old trick where you blow into the cartridge. Voila! I had a working copy of the game. Luckily, it had a save file already from a guy named Willie, who had beaten the first gym, so I was able to receive distributions. At 7 o'clock on the dot, I ran to Mr. Pokelab again and got my distribution. When looking at the shiny Raikou, Entei, and Suicune, suddenly an idea struck me. I had read a long time ago that many years after the release of Heart Gold and SoulSilver, RNG experts had uncovered how to turn almost any gendered wild Pokemon shiny, although it was a very difficult glitch to activate. Right then and there, I decided I would embark on an all-shiny run of SoulSilver and document it just for fun. Well, that concludes the start of my adventure, I guess. A short preview of next time. How does the Cute Charm Shiny glitch actually work? It costs more than Platinum. Finding a working copy of Pokemon Platinum to trade over my mons. Activating the actual glitch. How long would it take? I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you'll come back and subscribe for more next time. Until then, Viridian Island signing off.